So, how are we doing today? Greetings to you. Welcome to today's edition of Uncensored Guyana. I am Dr. Prasad, your precious gift. I'm going to be changing my name so you know, in case you've just joined me. For now, it's Dr. Prasad. But you can, if you like the love stuff, it's okay. But I have to play the role that's necessary for the objective. So welcome to today. It's Tuesday. Last week went so fast, I didn't realize. When it was last Saturday, I thought it was Friday. That's the thing with time. When you are busy, you miss the essence of time. But when you're not doing anything, when your life is stagnated, when it's idled, you have enough time to look at other people. You have enough time to be envious of other people. You have enough time to plot and try to destroy, try to be a stumbling block towards the daily performance of other people, because you have nothing to do. Your life is just there. You just exist. There's no meaning to life for you. Matter of fact, people like that, they want the time to move by. They want the time to move fast. So they can go to bed tonight, and wake up tomorrow and it's Christmas. More gifts. Or it's the date to go collect the next check, the next cash grant. You know, those people, that's what they like. Nothing else to do. They sit around waiting for somebody's birth anniversary, for somebody's wedding that they can go to. They wait around for summer, when everybody can stay home and they can feel as they are part of something, because they have nothing going for them. So when this time comes around, you know, the summertime, when the government workers and certain sectors gets holiday, those who do not contribute towards the development of Guyana, they feel at home. Hey, it's vacation. Everybody's home, so they don't feel guilty anymore because they can join the crowd because of their lack of productivity. But when you're busy in the business of contributing to life, whether it's family, home, community, country, when you are busy in that respect, then holidays, you have a problem with. Weekends is your worst time. The nighttime is an enemy to you, because when night comes, you can't do anything. When weekend comes, you can't do anything. When there's a holiday, your business is affected. So you do not like seasons where people just halt production. You hate holidays. That's when you are contributing. When you need the sun to keep your wheel turning, as against those who have nothing to do. There's a few things I want to touch on today. Not a few things, a lot of things I want to touch on today. But I want to get this out of the way. You see, in everything I do, I try to pay attention to the things that the average person may not be paying attention to or looking at. And because the Charlie Kirk assassination dominates every sector, social media, the news, everywhere you turn, it's something about the Charlie Kirk situation. So I paid attention to it from day one. I wanted to just vent some thoughts that invaded my mind leading up to that. I do view on occasion Candace Owens. She's a very powerful young woman, Afro-American, very powerful, very influential. I mean, you can say, is an influencer. She upset the whole French government. She made life literally a living hell for the president of France and his other half. She is very, very influential. She's responsible, as those of you who may follow American politics, Candace Owens is solely responsible for the demise of Kamala Harris. Candace Owens, not just Charlie Kirk, caused Trump to win. Candace Owens had a lot to do with Donald Trump's victory. Candace Owens and the Republican Party. I think her impact is as similar as Charlie Kirk. She had a similar impact on the American election and Trump winning as much as Charlie Kirk. So Candace Owens, she's devastating to the powers that be. She's very devastating. She brought down the Democratic Party, brought down Kamala Harris, caused Joe Biden to quit. She influenced the whole France, the country, the government. She's a powerhouse. That woman there, Candace Owens, very influential. And of course, what I want to say in that regard, is that I understand, and for persons who may have common sense, you would understand that, at the time back in the day when she just started with this Charlie Kirk guy, I mean, she is an attractive woman, a very attractive woman, Afro-American woman, and any man would want to sleep with her. Any man. I mean, you look at her like, wow, she's pretty. So the thing is, my theory on that is that there was something going on with her and Charlie Kirk. Something sexual going on with her and Charlie Kirk. And I think Charlie Kirk's wife or girlfriend at the time found out, and it caused a problem. So Candace Owens had to quit Turning Point USA. She had to resign. She had to quit because whatever was happening between herself and Charlie Kirk came out, and the woman, the wife or the girlfriend at the time, got to know, which is now Erika Kirk. And Candace was forced to quit because, after all, she's prettier than the wife of Charlie Kirk. So obviously, at the time, you have this white guy hitting on this black girl, and they have something going. The white woman would be jealous and say, "Hey, no, you got to get rid of her." So my theory is that's why she left the Turning Point stuff, and then Charlie Kirk, of course, had to marry the woman that he married now before his death. I mean, 4 years ago. Why I'm mentioning all of that? It is because when I looked at the sentiment that was expressed from this Candace Owens as against the wife of Charlie Kirk, the emotions, the sadness, the empathy that was seen from Candace Owens was more genuine than what I saw from the wife of Charlie Kirk. The wife of Charlie Kirk, yes, whatever, but for me, I didn't feel anything. It was fake. It was all like a sham, like a performance, and the act was not good. I didn't see any as if this was a loving thing. I didn't see that. I didn't get that from her. You know, it's like when you match people. You know, I mean, the Indians, Indo-Guyanese, and some African cultures, you find a wife for the boy, and then you marry them, but they hadn't the chance to develop a relationship, develop a friendship, get to each other. The woman may have had a crush on somebody else. The boy may have had a crush on some other girl, but they did not get to be with the people they really wanted to be with because their parents matched them up with somebody else. So they still have had a lingering interest in the person they really wanted to be with. And maybe they would have had a secret connection with that person on the other side while they're married to whoever their parents want them to get married to. So when something happens, then you get to understand there is no real connection. So I don't see a real connection with the wife of Charlie Kirk as to where he's concerned. I saw more of a genuine bond between Charlie Kirk and this Candace girl. But with him and his wife, I've seen videos with them. I didn't see that. From him, yeah, but from her, the wife, I didn't see that connection to him. You would think that Candace Owens was the man's wife, as against Erika Kirk. All a performance. So while his legacy is good, he's one of the greatest. Everything that surrounded his death, there's a question mark. Everything that followed the whole post death and the memorial, it was just a stage. There is nothing, in my opinion, there is nothing authentic about it. It was just a bunch of actors. That's what I saw. So I had to say that this is the world we live in today. Everything is scripted. You don't know who to take serious. You don't know when it's real. You just have to like, okay, well, if they say so, well, maybe that's what it is. No. Question everything. Even when it comes to your own governments, question everything. Because everybody has a boss. All the politicians, they have bosses. And most of the times, their bosses are their sponsors. So we come down to this stage here, where all that surrounded the Charlie Kirk situation, and all the players involved, where does it lead? It leads to what's going to happen to each and every one of us. Remember 9/11? Remember all the bombings? Remember the October 7th situation? Remember the Nelson Mandela situation? Look back at history. Follow the events of history and look at everything that happened globally after a so-called historic event. All of us felt the effect. We all felt the effect of 9/11, post 9/11. All of us, to this day. And every time something like that happens, our lives doesn't get better. It gets worse. We are more reduced. We are more imprisoned. Our freedoms are taken away. No matter what country you are, the effect is experienced. And how do you stop that? People like Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk would have used their platform to educate their audience and prepare their audience for things like these. But how much of us pay attention to that? How much of us? Because our governments are the ones we trust to protect us, to keep us in a real democracy where we can have real freedom of expression, real freedom to socialize, real freedom to live and feel alive. We put people in place. We elect our leaders so that they can ensure that we experience that. But then our leaders subscribe to a global order, a world order that has nothing to do with us who voted for them. They subscribed on behalf of us, but didn't consult with us before they subscribed to that. Remember COVID? All the policies, all the issues that came post COVID. How many Guyanese asked for that? Not one. But yet we were forced to fall in line because our governments, whom we trusted, signed on to it because their sponsors ordered them to do it. And you would think that since we put them there, we are their sponsors. But no, it's a sham, just a game. When they win the race, they answer to their real bosses, not to the people. Am I saying that President Ali is guilty of that? Of course not. He may not be guilty, but his handlers might be guilty. I also want to touch on the fact that a lot of people have been asking the question, since they say, well, Doc, you seem to know so much. I said, yeah, I do. Then what is your opinion on who will be the next president of Guyana? I'll get to that. You'll be surprised. I'll get to that. Now, before I get to that, let me deal a little bit with the PNC. Now, we all know that the PNC is finished, as it is. They need a new identity, and this man Campbell is trying, but he wouldn't. His fate is as certain as Azruddin Mohammed. The fate of this businessman, who is now the leader of the parliamentary representatives of the PNC, his fate and Azruddin Mohammed's fate are like the same. They should go to the same church. Yeah, on Tuesday. And clap and sing, and yeah, the two of them. Their fate is similar. They're done. This is Muhammad's first and last chance of ever experiencing what it's like to be a politician and opposition leader. It will never happen again when it comes to Win and Azruddin Mohammed. That's done. That's old news. That party is already dismantled. Those who are going to the parliament, they're just going there because they want to put on their resume, I was a parliamentarian, and they get the money, the benefits, the duty-free stuff. I don't know if their visas would be reinstated because they're members of parliament. I don't know. Let's see. Americans are opportunists, so maybe if the president needs to get some support with a legislation, they would say, well, President Ali, if you want us to vote this way, then call the embassy and say, hey, reinstate their visas. Or call the bank and say, hey, reinstate their accounts. You know, politics, look, folks, when it comes to politics, you have to make compromises. You have to make sacrifices. And Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, was a sacrifice. He was sacrificed for the so-called greater good. Well, that greater good, we would see what it is in the next few months. In the near future, we will see what the greater good that deserved that sacrifice that he made. He didn't sign on to it. It was forced upon him. But I believe there were other people who knew that he would be sacrificed. They didn't tell him because they were a part of the plan or the cult that needed a shepherd to take one for the team. It's just my theory. I haven't heard it anywhere. Nobody told me anything. Just my theory that he was sacrificed. And Candace Owens felt it the most. Because, you know, when you're in love with somebody, it's not that easy. Yeah, maybe she loved them a lot, and she did not turn out to be the wife because he already was engaged to somebody. He cheated on his girlfriend with her, and they loved each other, and it just happened the way it happened. My theory, like I said. And also, Charlie Kirk was a threat to the next presidency of America. He was a threat. You see, Charlie Kirk very well could have ran in the next election in America and win. There's nobody else, left or right, Republican or Democrat, that could have beaten Charlie Kirk at a presidential race. Not J.D. Vance, the vice president, not even Donald Trump himself, if he had to run again. Charlie Kirk would have taken away the presidency. And I think that was his plan, to run for president. And the power struggle, like, hey, we can't have that. No. My theory, he was sacrificed because he was a threat to all of them. So everybody had to shut them out and just let it be. My theory. I haven't heard this anywhere. I looked at the situation. I looked at the memorial service. I draw my own conclusion. I looked and listened to the Candace Owens girl, and I said, okay, this is what I think it is. And in time, you would hear. In time, it'll come out. Because if you live in America, you live in the West, you can't run away from that. It's in your face. So me saying and talking about it, it's relevant because the whole world is talking about what has happened. So this is the case with Guyana. Ganesh Mahipal, and let me warn you guys on this. Aubrey Norton is going to resign. But I think before the next PNC Congress, Aubrey Norton might appoint Ganesh Mahipal as the opposition, as the leader of the PNC. Might appoint him, hand the reins to him. And when that happens, there may not be a Congress where PNC elect another leader. There may not be one before the next election. So by default, Ganesh Mahipal might be the presidential candidate under the PNC for the next election. And all the people who would have left the PNC because of Aubrey Norton, they will go back to support Ganesh Mahipal. And the PNC might regain the opposition leader's position at the next election. Might regain that. Ganesh Mahipal might be the opposition leader by default. Aubrey Norton will appoint him because he will step aside. So therein you would have the next opposition leader under the PNC will be Ganesh Mahipal, because they will regain those votes that they lost to win. So win will become insignificant. They'll be a thing of the past. So it will just be the PPP and the PNC. And we'll have a opposition leader, an Indo-Guyanese opposition leader again, which will be Ganesh Mahipal. Now let me put some perspective here. If the PNC appoints a female, if they have their Congress where they elect a leader, a female would be elected, not a male, not this Campbell guy. Don't worry then. They will not, the PNC will not elect a man again. The next elected leader of the PNC via a Congress will be a woman, an Afro-Guyanese woman. If that happens, and the next PNC leader is an Afro-Guyanese woman, that may not be good for the PPP's chances at 2030's election. May not be good. So the PPP must hope that Aubrey Norton hands the rein to Ganesh Mahipal. With Mahipal there, of course, the PPP could go to sleep. They don't have to do any campaigning. They'll win again. But if the PNC put a woman And if the woman is favorable, I'm not talking about Amanza Walter, I'm talking about that one, or Simona Brooms, not those. They're done, they're done. I'm talking about a favorable female. If that happens, she will get support. All the blacks will come back to the PNC. Because politics in Guyana, it's about racial identity. That is a matter of fact. The vote split the last election because nobody in the Afro-Guyanese community wanted Aubrey Norton. Nobody wanted Nigel Hughes. Nobody wanted Amanzo Desir. Nobody wanted Simona Bromes. Nobody wanted any of those. So because the people wanted to exercise their constitutional right, they voted largely for President Ali and this new guy, Ajuni Muhammad. I mean the black people. But they don't want to vote for Muhammad. They have no other choice. If the PNC do the same thing, recycle the people that they have done before, then they don't have a chance. This is my prediction. It will take a female candidate from the PNC side to have a chance of winning the next election, a female. If it's a male and it's Ganesh Mahipal, it's a blessing to the PPP and the PPP will regain power again. Like I said before, even if there is a third of the term limit, even if term limits is removed, they revoke that, which I think would happen. All you need is a majority in the parliament to vote on that. And the PPP right now has the majority of the parliament and they have the opposition. So that's a sure thing. That might happen very soon. Revising the legislation and just, removing that term limit thing, because there are lots of countries in the world, that don't have term limits. Lots of countries, democratic countries. This is I don't know why we were forced to get into that because the Americans say so. But there are a lot of countries where presidents can apply, and as long as the people would have them, they vote for them. That's democracy. So I think that is going to be removed, term limits. Now, when it happens, President Ali will not be elected leader of the PPP at the next Congress. Because term limit, as a president, the party's policy would influence that to a large extent. Not because you are president for 2 terms, automatically you can run for a 3rd term. No, the party now has to vote. If they want this person who would have had 2 terms already to be the leader of the party, in so doing, they can now go for a 3rd term. If the party's policies differs from the constitution of the country, and the people within the party of the PPP votes at the next Congress and say, no, we would like Vice President Barrett Jadgeo as the leader of the party. If they vote for Barrett Jadgeo, he now goes on the list as the presidential candidate. He will have a 3rd term. The party will have to decide if they want President Ali as the leader of the party at the next Congress. because his 2 terms would have been up. So while the changes would come for a candidate to go as long as they want, saving that the party votes for them as a leader, it would not be President Ali. How do I know that? Trust me on this. Trust me on this. Remember, I'm your precious gift. And the only way you can prove me wrong is to wait and see. Wait patiently, and you'll see. The next leader, because right now is President Ali, he's a leader. Jadgeo is a secretary. The next leader of the PPP at the next Congress, whatever year it will be before the elections. Vice President Jadgeo will be elected the leader of the PPP. And he will be the presidential candidate 2030. And if, like I say, Ganesh Mahipal becomes the leader of the PNC, then President Jadgeo would be the next president in 2030. Deep stuff, I know. The only way President Jadgeo may not win the elections 2030 is if the PNC has a female candidate. And that female candidate is going to get rid of all them old crooks in the party, and she will influence young, promising, honest individuals to come in the party, and that will attract the sympathetic Indo-Guyanese voters, the sympathetic Amerindian voters, coupled with the fact that it might be the first female president of Guyana. People will want to see that. Only if it's a female. But when it comes to the PPP, the next presidential candidate is going to be Vice President Jadgeo, who can very well be the next president. And guess what? You don't have to wonder who will be the vice president. If you have to wonder that, then you're not following my shows. The vice president, 2030, would be President now Irfan Ali. He'll be the vice president of Guyana post 2030. Now, Mark Phillips, the prime minister, he's done. He's out of the picture. 2030, he's out. He don't have a third term. Third term does not accommodate the prime minister. The next prime ministerial candidate for the PPP would be a black woman from Linden. A black woman from Linden is going to be the next prime minister of Guyana if the PPP retains the presidency with Vice President Jadgeo as president. 2030. Make a note of what I just said. Save this video. Mark it. Click on it. Subscribe. Save this video because you will have to refer to it in 4 years or less than that. This video, this live, what I'm saying now, pay attention to it. Because in the next few years, you would say, oh shit, Dr. Prasad did say this. He predicted this. No, make it sound good. He prophesied this. Damn. Yeah. Make a note of it. Let me go even deeper. I'm preparing you for this. You see, I'm not a politician. So I'm not going to wait until a few months before the elections or the campaign start, then to start saying stuff. No, I like to be early. I like to be the first one. So I'm the first one who are saying this now. So whenever you hear people talking about it in the future, you'll know, no, 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 no. That guy said it first. And what that guy is saying now is that the next president of America will come from the Democrats. And that would be a female. The next American president in 2028 would be a Democrat female, not Kamala Harris. Not Kamala Harris. A Democrat female president means somebody who's born female. 2028. Now, when that happens, when 2028, the female president comes from the Democratic Party of America, then it is an absolute surety that the next president of Guyana will be a female from the PNC. That would be 100% certainty. So if you see 2028, the Americans announce the first female president, then it's over. Forget it. Then the next president of Guyana will be a female from the PNC, saving that they appoint a woman as the PNC leader. If they don't appoint a woman, the PNC will not win the election, but they will gain control of the parliament, like in Ramatar's time. And the PPP would be useless because they will lose the majority of the parliament. Either way, it's going to be difficult. I have enough time to give more prophecy as to how we can save this. Why I say we can save this, meaning it's early in President Ali's second term. It's early. But I can't wait to bring these revelations. So I'm now giving you enough time as the citizens to spread the word. Take cognizance of this. Whatever side you're on, you have to act now. If you are on the side of the PPP and you want to make sure that the PPP stays in government, don't shut up and not criticize corruption. Expose corruption even under the PPP so that President Ali can fix it early. He can retain and sustain and hold the trust of the Guyanese people early from day one. Don't take it for granted that you're going to leave the exposure to other people. Do your part as a citizen. If you don't want the PNC to win the next election, you have to start pulling up these ministers now, these government officials now, start exposing them, reporting them, so the president can do what the president does, fire them, and show the Guyanese people that, hey, you voted for me as your president, I'm going to serve you. If anybody in my cabinet, in my government is shitty, I'm going to get rid of them, because my job as president is to keep your trust, is to serve you, the people, and to make sure that I perform and my team performs to the satisfaction of the Guyanese people. That's what you need to do if you want to save the legacy of the PPP. If not, shut up, allow Burks and the Smellies and all these people. Where are they, by the way? They're quiet. They're quiet now. Anyway, you can allow them to do the talking for you, and they're going to expose the corrupt officials under the PPP for you and win the support of the sympathetic Indo-Guyanese and all the blacks for the PNC. That's my advice. Do your part from now. Stand up for your country now. We don't know what Guyana will be like under a female president. We don't know. But what we know right now is that the policies of the PNC is nothing you can trust. You can't afford to gamble taking a chance with the PNC. You did it in 2015, right? Look what happened in the 5 years. Look what happened. Crime went up, poverty went up, loans went up, indebtedness went up, the value of the money went down, the PNC ministers got rich, the PNC ministers' side chicks got more vehicles, the PNC's minister's side chick plus their another side chick got free houses. They get all of these benefits because you, the citizens, you gambled on them. I'm happy that you didn't do it again this second time. You gambled on the criminal, and that's to your detriment. Let's hope you don't do it again in 2030. But in the meantime, you must understand what your responsibilities are as Guyanese. I would not have a problem if Vice President Jadgeo runs a third term. I have no problem with that. From what I've noticed that he was very harsh on crime. He had a more firm fist when it comes to dealing with crime. The society, certain elements in the society were more fearful of President Jadgeo. I need a disciplinarian. So yeah, I might support him. Because like I said, my thing is get rid of crime. Kill the criminals. Jail them, get rid of them. And the thing about killing the criminals and getting rid of them is it is to the detriment of the PNC. Because what happens to you guys? Listen, black people. If you want any chance of the PNC becoming the next government, any chance, don't bank on the Indo-Guyanese vote. Don't bank on that. Because, you can't, Indians are loyal. So don't think that you can seduce an Indo-Guyanese that easy. You can do it to a black person. So even if Mahi Paul is the opposition, the leader of the PNC, it doesn't mean Indians would follow him. No Indian want to be identified with Mahi Paul. No. Maybe the one that has some identity issues. But besides that, Indo-Guyanese are embarrassed with the guy. They're ashamed of him. They're ashamed of him. You understand? Indian people have a lot of pride. They're proud people. And people like Mahi Paul, he's an embarrassment to the Indo-Guyanese community. He's an embarrassment. The only people can rescue him is the ghetto. The happy part of the ghetto. The happy, fun part of the ghetto accommodates the likes of Mahi Paul. But the Indo-Guyanese in general, he's an embarrassment to them. So he can't get their votes. As a matter of fact, he's going to help the PPP. That's why I said. Because if he becomes the opposition, the leader of the PNC, it's a blessing to Vice President Jadgeo. A blessing because, okay, good. Now all those PPP people that were on the fence, now they're going to jump over the fence and come home. So yes, Aubrey, make Mahi Paul your successor. Put him there. I dare you. Go ahead. Give him a chance. He deserves it. Show the world that you are not racist. Show the world that you can have the decent personality to make an Indo-Guyanese person the leader of the PNC. Show the world. People would love that. You're not going to put a woman. You're too arrogant for that. Then put a man. At least it's close to a woman. Give it a shot. So look, time flies very fast. Before you know it, it's Christmas. And before you know it, it's nomination day. And before you know it, it's election day, 2030. Don't sit around on your asses and just, oh, we have time. No, we don't have time. We don't have time. From day one, you have to start working. And I hope these ministers now and the PPP cabinet people, I hope they can continue what they started. Don't just do it because it's fresh. Keep it up. Continue doing it every day for the next 4 years. That's what you paid for. That's what you get all the benefits for. Continue to do that. The people voted for President Ali, and President Ali appointed his cabinet. So while President Ali is serving the Guyanese people, you, the cabinet, serve the president. And by serving the president, you serve the people. Make sure you get that done. And deal with this crime situation that we have in our country. So look, I wanted to make sure I cover all my points. There is something circulating about this WhatsApp message between the president and some other shitty person. If you believe that, you are an idiot. I've seen that thing a while now. People sent it to me. They sent me the app. Look at what your president is doing. Look at what your president. I blocked them. Because the fact that you have common sense and you're going to read that, you're going to take your time to read that shitty app. Does that sound like a president? Does it sound like anybody in their right senses? Do you think the president is going to chat with somebody who's not his brother or his wife or Vice President Jadgeo or the Prime Minister and have a lengthy app with those individuals, knowing that you can't trust anyone? Why do you think when you go to see the president at the office of the president, there's always people around him in his office? He's never private. Because as president, you can't trust anyone. The only one you can trust is your wife. And because Vice President Jadgeo has more stake in the PPP than the president, those two men would be alone. Besides that, the president will not be in his office alone with anybody else, not even his ministers. There's always people around. I think he would be such an idiot to have chat with some random friend or whoever talking about that bullshit. The man is smart. The man is wise. You see the stuff that Ajudin pulled about showing so-called conversation with him and the president? What was the president's response? Allegedly. Okay, it's fixed, it's done. Short, to the point. You cannot take that out of context. But still, it was not the president's response. But if you are a high-profile person, that's how you respond to people. You show them a sign, a heart, a yes, no, to the point, but no lengthy sentences, no lengthy conversation, no voice messages. No president does that. Only the simple-minded person would believe that shit. And the president should not even waste his time to post that thing as fake. He should waste his time with that. We all know it's fake. Don't give it attention. Ignore it. I ignored it. I blocked the people who sent it to me. I said, don't send me these nonsense. That's what I was referring to the other day when I said people keep sending me stuff about this minister, this. I said, no, if you can't verify it, don't send it to me. So I thought, let me just mention that. So the decent Guyanese, don't believe these nonsense. It is coming from the Win camp. It's coming from their camp. I wouldn't put this on Aubrey Norton. Aubrey Norton is an idiot, but he's not stupid. I wouldn't put those kinds of stuff on him. I'll give it to Ashradine. His people like those kinds of nonsense. That's what they do. So fellow Guyanese, stand behind your president. It's a new term for him. Stand behind him. You can start criticizing him 2 years. 2028, start criticizing, because you have 2 years to look at and say, okay, 2026, 27, this is what happened. You can start the criticism then. But for now, give the guy a break, man. And speaking of break, the Suriname president, her husband, I think right now he's in Guyana, on an invitation from the president of Guyana. And what the information was given out is that the Mr. Gerlings, which is the president's husband, has a background in agriculture. So his expertise would be good for the agriculture sector of Guyana. You see how the president is being inclusive? He is soliciting the help of the president of Suriname's husband. That's how innovative the man is. I mean, President Ali. Anywhere he can find some help, he's going to call and say, hey, can you help me out with this? That's how desperate the president is into fixing Guyana, bringing out the best in Guyana, wanting Guyana to be the breadbasket of the Caribbean. The man is proud of his country. He wants to hire the president's husband of Suriname. The audacity, but I like it. Because when you have those kinds of experts in your own country, like Suriname, the previous government did not take advantage of people who have the expertise to help the economy, help the country. No, it's too much of race politics, race politics. If it didn't come from this camp, I don't care how smart you are. That shit got to stop. Now, President Ali is engaging everybody he can find. The experts in Guyana, he learned that the president of Suriname's husband is an expert in agriculture. He's like, oh, really? Well, we got some problem here. We could do it with your help. The man is quick to fix the situations. And this is what we have in that president. Sadly, he will not have a third term. Like I said, the law will be passed, but it's the party that has to decide who leads the party from the next Congress. And it wouldn't be him. It would be Jadgeo. I would love if President Ali can have a third term. I would love that. But you see, my prophetic skills can't change the outcome of the future. I can just say what I see, but I can't change it. And that's what I see. So for now, we have to celebrate what we have, enjoy the president, support his initiatives, and make sure that we back his programs and his plans. So yes, if Mr. Gerlings, the president of Suriname's husband, can help the agriculture sector of Guyana, why not? Go ahead. I help with votes. I'm still waiting for my invitation. I'm still waiting for it. Everybody else is getting invite but me. I'm not getting invitation yet. You see? I praise and I criticize. Fair and balanced. That's who I am. So in closing, please, Home Affairs Minister, I'm watching you. You start off good. But the end results is make sure that all the criminals disappear. That's the end result. Keep Guyana safe. Make Guyana safe. Take religion back to the schools. Take police visits back to the school. Let the children idolize, honor, and reverence men and women in law enforcement uniforms like we used to back in the day. Let it happen again. Clean the force. Get rid of all of the criminals and crooks in the police force. Get rid of them. Fire them. Get the clean ones to deal with. If you invest in the young ones, make sure the young ones was not corrupted by the older ones. So Minister of Home Affairs, get rid of the crime. Ban the hoodies. The face mask, the hoodies, ban it. Let the cops stop these bikers anywhere. And as long as they see them with these helmets in their face and these hoodies, let them stop them, search them, scan their fingerprint, scan their names to see if they're wanted for anything. Clean the streets. Burn all those roaches from the ghetto. Wash it out. Give it a spiritual bath. Herbalize the ghetto so the Guyanese can be safe. All those men who like to beat their women, jail them. Jail those men who like to beat up on their women. So, Doc, what if a woman likes to abuse her man? Leave her. That's what you do. If you're living with a woman and she likes to cuss you out and use her hands on you, leave the bitch. That's it. Because if you raise your hand on her and you inflict a deadly blow, who gives a shit how many times she beat your ass? You'll be the murderer. Society sees you as a woman beater, as a man who inflicts violence against women. That's how society sees you. They won't look at her that she likes to beat men. They will look at you that you murdered the woman. So, besides all of that, if your wife cusses you out, she likes to scream in your face, she likes to call you names and make you feel less of a man, she hits you to emasculate you, leave the bitch. The kids will understand. Move on. Find a woman who can respect you, who can bow to you and say, yes, daddy, what did you say? And keep her voice calm and slow and soft, and she can always be submissive to you. Find women like that. But those who like to raise their hands and cuss you out, leave them. Let them go sleep with the junkies on the road. But don't put your hand on them. Don't put your hand on women. If you do, I am saying you need to go to jail. Until next time. Today okay, here what the thing is. I was running late. I had to just put on whatever I can find closest to me. And this is what I could find. You see, the preparation for my show takes time. Research, notes. So I have to be like 1 hour before the time to put all of these things together. That is because I have other things I need to do, to survive. Because you guys aren't sending me donations. You're not sending money. You're not sending donations. So because you're not supporting the show financially, I have to find other things to keep me going. And that's why the time is not scheduled. I have to change schedule. I have to do this and do that because you are not supporting your precious gift, which is me. I can't look for support from politicians. They only support you when elections are there to get you to talk for them. And even if they promise you support and the elections come and they win, they forget about you. That's politicians. The people who are consistent, who are loyal, are the supporters that are with you every day, elections or not, they're with you. And a lot of you people are there with me for the past 10, 15, 20 years. I love that. I'm fortunate because you are still there. But I can't put my trust in politicians. Neither can you. Until next time. Have a good day. Bye. Bye now.